shout out to my fellow finger sniffers, those of you that have been here since 2019, because you, the viewers who have stuck around since then, would know that this is not the first time we have talked about this topic. Oh no, we made a video about this same exact thing back then, and it was a crazy idea back then. It's as crazy of an idea now, arguably even more crazy. So we're going over onto a Vancouver Hockey Now article from 3 days ago, June 20th, 2022, published by Ron Simpson. This is the title of the piece: Could the Devils' PK Subban join the Vancouver Canucks? And I know your reaction when you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail, you said, Lego, you're ridiculous, man. You're making this video for views. You're making this video for views because you know this is the type of topic that garners up discussions and clicks, even though you know this is an idea that will likely not happen. And sure, you might be 100% correct in that assessment. But the point is, we've seen this article pop up, and because of it, I kind of feel the need to talk about it, because the Hockey Now series of articles is indeed a connected source when it comes to hockey media. Therefore, it makes a lot of sense that an article like this would gain traction, which is why I feel it's sort of an opportunity for us to step in here and say, okay, what exactly is this idea? Now, PK Subban, if you want a little rundown as to what he's been up to the past little bit here, he's coming off a contract where he made $9 million a year. And I don't think it's really necessary to hammer down the point just how overpaid he was. I mean, Subban was very good when he signed the contract, just probably not $9 million good. Because in the time frame where he was with the Montreal Canadiens, he was legitimately a Norris winner. He had 38 points in 42 games played in the shortened season in 2013. He got the contract shortly after, and then he was traded to Nashville. There was the entire Cup run, he went to the Stanley Cup Finals with the Predators, and he was a part of a D-core that was so incredibly strong. Ekholm, Ellis, Josi, Subban, phenomenal. But as his career proceeded, he started to decline, which led to a trade. He went over to New Jersey, he still had that $9 million cap hit. He was playing with the Devils the past 3 seasons, where he had 22 points in 77 games in 21-22. Subban now is 33 years old. He's still 6 feet tall, 209 pounds as a right-handed defenseman, and wherever Subban goes next, it's really all up in the air. We don't think that there's going to be a realistic situation where the Devils re-sign Subban. It's kind of been an open secret, I guess, that they don't really feel like they're going to renew his services. And so for Subban, towards the tail end of his career, you have to ask yourself, okay, where is the next destination? Where does he go to potentially ride off into the sunset? Or where does he go to add another chapter before that final one? This article on Vancouver Hockey Now talks about how in the follow-up story regarding talks between the Devils and the Canucks, some fans raise the topic of veteran PK Subban heading west. As in, way west. Most questions, if not all, deserve answers. It's also worth taking a closer look at what else the Devils might have available and what the Canucks might be interested in. And so, this article goes into an entire history story. It talks about Subban. He's 33 years old, traded for Weber, they dumped him in Nashville, etc., etc. It talks about some other pieces that the Devils have that are going to contribute to their offseason and things they're going to have to deal with, but it just goes over that. It doesn't really talk too much about Subban. It says this, that his production dipped drastically in Newark over 3 seasons as the team struggled to put its pieces together to make the playoffs. The Devils have made the postseason once in the last decade, getting bounced in the first round in 2018. The article then talks about Dougie Hamilton, and then it just says this about Subban. So, if and where would the Canucks come in? It would be in free agency, and it's not bloody likely. Here are some pros to PK Subban. He's a right shot, and he's skilled. He might be ultra-motivated with a new look. He might be had an extreme discount too, and the media would love him. The cons to Subban, though, are that he's 33 years old, he's slowing down, he brings a flamboyance and magnetism that can suck the oxygen out of a room, and he's likely still too expensive. It also goes against the team's stated goal of the youth being the core. As for trades as it stands, the Devils' second overall pick remains the most interesting commodity. So, no offense to the writer of this piece here, Rob Simpson, but this article kind of feels like my YouTube channel. A hypothetical idea brought up for the sake of making an article about it, not really because there's any substance behind the content. I mean, I guess it's okay because he's saying, hey, there are fans that are saying, what if Subban is the guy? What if Subban comes to Vancouver? What if Vancouver signs Subban? But like, the article in question doesn't necessarily go over Subban in Vancouver, it just kind of talks about the Devils. I mean, I kind of like that he made this article because now it gives me an excuse to make a video about it, so here's my 2 cents in the entire matter. Is PK Subban a valuable NHL defenseman? I'd say depends on the contract. He did get 22 points last season on the Devils team that was improving, so that certainly isn't bad. It's just whatever amount of money this guy asks for next season, you're going to have to make sure it is not in the realm of the other Canucks long-term right-handed defensemen they have that have been mistakes in the past. Hamonic, Pullman, Myers, these guys were all pretty disappointing, especially for the contracts. I mean, that might be a bit harsh to say, but you get what I mean here, right? Vancouver with a D-core next season of, presumably, Hughes, OEL, Dermott, or let's say Hughes, OEL, Rathbone, move Dermott to the right side, and we'll have Myers and, I guess, Tucker Pullman. Hopefully he comes back and he's healthy. There is, arguably, room to move out some players if you really wanted to. And if you wanted to say that a PK Subban could be a good stopgap between now and the time that Jet Wu inevitably makes the roster, or when Yoni Yermo eventually makes the roster, which I don't think is gonna happen in the short-term future, but if you really wanted to say there's a stopgap position available, PK Subban, if he's a right-handed guy that can produce offense, I can think of worse options. It's all just gonna go down to the contract and all that other stuff. Now, I do like the point that this article made. Should PK Subban come to Vancouver, which I don't think is likely, but if it does happen, the media would absolutely love this guy. You know how Vancouver media is. These guys are some of the most ruthless and unrelenting interviews in the NHL. With Toronto, it's a little bit more straightforward, and I guess there's a lot more, let's say, bluntness when they interview their players, but for Vancouver, I feel like there's a certain finesse that a lot of Canucks reporters go through when maneuvering through questions and navigating interviews, trapping coaches and trapping players into uncomfortable situations. I feel like it's not like that in any other hockey market. Now, PK Subban dealt with the Montreal media, and you can say, oh, well, they were French-speaking, so it's not really like he experienced the heat in Montreal in the same way like Jonathan Drouin was, for example. But at the same time, PK Subban also won a Norris, so he was really good with the Canadians, and they all loved him over there. You saw the donations he made to the hospital and everything. PK Subban, though, coming to Vancouver would be a nice breath of fresh air to those interviews. You saw what Canucks reporters were all saying about Nate Schmidt and how this guy was a vivacious personality whom they loved to talk to. Same could be said about Bruce Boudreau, and you could definitely say the same thing about a PK Subban coming over and doing the thing. Also, in my opinion, it would be really interesting just seeing the Canucks play with a a legit right-handed power play quarterback. All these other guys have been left-handed. Quinn Hughes is great, and I love Quinn Hughes, but take a look at everybody else that has manned the top unit power play quarterback position the past few years. Edler, left-handed. Even on the second unit, you had guys like Nate Schmidt, left-handed. OEL, left-handed. I think they might have tried Tyler Myers there. I'm not really too sure if that's accurate, but if they did, then that guy's right-handed, but he kind of breaks the mold. It's not really like Tyler Myers is supposed to be the number one power play quarterback anyway. And I guess you could say the PK is not there anymore either because the guy put up 22 points this recent season, but still, he was there before, so there might be somewhat of an interesting experiment should you actually make this signing. But as this article points out, it's really not likely. It would have to be in free agency should the Canucks actually bring PK Subban on, and there are more cons to his game than pros that would make the Canucks likely not even try to explore this option. So, talk in the comments all your thoughts about the idea of PK Subban, New Jersey Devils defenseman, former Hab, former Predator, coming over to the Vancouver Canucks in free agency. Do you think this is something Benning... Oh my goodness, did I just say that? Benning? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that slipped out of my mouth. No. Is this something that Rutherford and Alvin should consider? If you're a Devils fan, let me know your thoughts in the comments about PK and how he performed this recent season. If you're a Canucks fan, tell me in the comments why you don't like this video and why you don't like me for making it, even though it was on a hockey article journalism platform that really does have a prominent spot in this world. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and read this piece yourself. But talk in the comments all your thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.